Gnosia is an anime that tells the story of Yuri, who awakens from a medical pod with amnesia. After regaining consciousness, he learns that he is aboard a spaceship called DQO, which has just escaped from the planet Yuan, a planet that was destroyed by Gnosia. The Gnosia are humans infected with a mysterious virus that compels them to kill other humans. The problem is, Gnosia have already been detected aboard the spaceship. The passenger must figure out who among them is a Gnosia and put them into cold sleep, otherwise the ship will be in a great danger. Each time the ship performs a warp jump, if any Gnosia remain, they will kill one passenger. This cycle continues until the number of Gnosia equals the number of humans, and when that happens, they will immediately kill all remaining humans. Because of this, Yuri and the other passenger must discuss, debate, and vote to determine who among them is actually a Gnosia.
わかった。
If this premise feels familiar to you, that means you have played game like this before known as Werewolf, or maybe something like Among Us. But what truly makes this anime interesting isn't just its werewolf element, it's the time loop mechanic at the core of the story. The tense discussion in the first episode ends badly. The Gnosia successfully deceive everyone. Yuri loses and is killed. But suddenly, Yuri wakes up again at the starting point. So the loop begins. In each loop, the outcome and storyline can change drastically. Who becomes a Gnosia is always different. This makes every episode feels fresh because you never truly know what will happen next. And in some timelines, Yuri can even become a Gnosia. The changes can be extremely drastic, even something like Yuri's gender can differ in another timeline. What's even stranger is that even when humans win in a certain timeline, Yuri still returns to the beginning. This is where we begin to realize the goal of the story isn't just to find out who the Gnosia are, but to uncover what is really happening, why Yuri keep looping, why he lost his memories, and how to stop all of this. As the loop continues, we also get to know the characters better, and it turns out that understanding them is the key to reaching the truth. Speaking of the characters, one of the first things that caught my attention was the character design. Everyone looks unique, interesting, and attractive, making each character feel memorable. Each character has their own story and uniqueness. After all, to reach the truth, we have to understand who they really are. Unfortunately, not all characters feel equally developed. There are some I really liked, but other feels underexplored. Even so, each of them still has their own moments. Gina has my favorite scenes in this anime. Design-wise, I like SQ the most, and her backstory was also quite touching to me. Meanwhile, Rakyo, who was initially annoying at the beginning, ends up having one of the best character developments by the end. And of course, the chemistry between Yuri and Setsu feels strong throughout the story. What might make some people not click with this anime is its early part. It can feel quite repetitive, discussions repeating, loops that sometimes feel similar with the same scenery over and over again. I personally did feel a bit bored at first, especially since the early plot is somewhat predictable. But as it goes on, the anime becomes much more interesting. The cliffhanger at the end of each episode are also very well done, to the point where it's hard to stop watching. Although sometimes I still hold myself back from continuing right away because the ending song is just too good to skip. Speaking of music, the soundtrack in this anime is surprisingly good and oddly familiar. And it's no surprise anymore until I found out that the anime soundtrack is handled by Hideyuki Fukusawa, one of my favorite composers. Overall, Gnosia is quite a memorable anime to me. It may not be the best, but its time loop concept is truly its main appeal. While it doesn't completely bring something new, it's strong enough to stand out among anime with similar themes. With a simple concept, the anime managed to deliver plot twists, memorable characters, and loops that all feel meaningful. Episode 16 in particular serves as a reminder that the time loops are not something fun. In fact, they are full of suffering. This kind of anime might not be for everyone, but for me personally, as someone who enjoys time travel elements in stories, Gnosia was a very interesting experience. Even after watching, I became interested in trying the game, especially after learning that to achieve the true ending in the game, you have to go through hundreds of loops. But as someone who hasn't played the game, I think the Gnosia anime is pretty solid adaptations all the way through, something I did not regret watching.